Welcome to Union County College. I'm President Dr. Maggie McMenamin, and this is Inside the College. My guest for this episode of Inside the College is our newly appointed prosecutor for Union County, Mr. William Daniel. Welcome, Prosecutor Daniel.
Thank you, President McMenamin.
It's great to have you here on Inside the College and back here at Union County College. And typically on this show, we ask people the same question: how did you get to where you are now? Now, I know you're a Union County person.
Sure.
You're a native of Union County, so
Sure.
Take us back to Bill Daniel, young Bill Daniel, as maybe a high school student here in Union County, and tell us, how did you end up in the big chair as our prosecutor?
Boy, it's been a long road. But went to Linden High School, graduated Linden High School in 1974.
Were you born in the county?
Born in Linden, New Jersey.
Wow.
Still live in Linden, New Jersey.
All right.
Lived in Linden, New Jersey for 64 of my 65 years. Moved to this great city of Elizabeth 1 year. Moved back home to regroup.
All right, so you went to Linden High
Sure,
School. Now,
sure.
we get a lot of students every year from Linden High
Yes.
School. Some of them do very well,
Yes.
and I understand that you're a Union County College owl as well.
Yes, I came here, like I said, September of 74. I started here, graduated May of 76. The best 2 years of my education were here. I'm so happy to be back here. I really am. I've gone full circle now. I tell people I went full circle in the prosecutor's office. We'll talk about that later, but in reality, I've now completed this circle of, education and training, and I always wanted to come back here.
Did you think you were going to be an attorney or a prosecutor, the new prosecutor when you were a student at Linden High School? Is that what your plan was?
That was the farthest thing from my mind back then at Linden High School where I was a student. I came here to major in criminal justice. While in Linden High School, one of my best friends, a gentleman named Mike Boyle, I said, Mike, we're seniors. What are you going to do when we get out of high school? Well, I've applied to Union College, Bill, and I'm going for criminal justice. And I said, you know what? Maybe I'll try it too. So I enrolled here. I started, in the criminal justice curriculum here, fall of 74.
So was the thought to become a police officer?
Yes. It was more of a law enforcement pull. I thought I wanted to become a police officer to protect and serve. It sounds cliche, but I always, even as a kid, when I was in high school, I worked in the parks. I worked, I was a volunteer with the Cancer Society.
Those were the 1 Atom 12 days,
Oh
weren't
my
they, in the
God, they were.
70s?
Yes,
1
they
Atom
were.
12?
Yes.
And was
1
that
Atom
part
12.
of your inspiration? We see TV inspire a lot of kids these days.
Yeah, part of it. Yeah, I believe so. I wanted to serve my community. I wanted to do public service.
So what happened after Union County College, or Union College?
Yeah, when
at
I
the
walked,
time?
well, when I walked in this door here, this school opened my eyes to a whole new world, really. I met people from all over the counties, fellow students from all over the county. I had a great instructor for Criminal Justice 101, which was a fellow named Dan Pocus. He was an investigator in the prosecutor's office at the time. And I said, I want to be like him. Now I know why I'm here. There was a law enforcement fraternity here called Eta Lambda Rho, and I joined that fraternity and started meeting other people who wanted to go on to be police officers. And I also met Dr. John Wolf, who was the chair of the Criminal Justice Department here. He was on the second floor. I think it's called the Nomahegan Building, or it was the Nomahegan
He's a
Building.
legend here. He's a legend at the college.
He became a mentor to not only me, but to other students in law enforcement.
So it was then that you started thinking, as opposed to the law side, maybe the order side, the prosecutor side?
I said to Dr. Wolf, I'd like to continue my education beyond Union College. What do you think, Doc? And Dr. Wolf, he was the chair here of Criminal Justice Department, but he was an adjunct professor over at John Jay College in Manhattan. And Dr. Wolf said, Bill, if you want to continue on with your education in criminal justice, the best school for law enforcement right now is John Jay College of Criminal Justice in Manhattan. And I went over there to an orientation, and sure enough, I continued on there. And I got my bachelor's from John Jay. The educational component of this school was unsurpassed. It was tougher education-wise in this school than, I love John Jay, okay?
Sure. No question, your preparation at Union
Oh my
County
God.
prepped you, took care of
Yes.
things at John
Yes,
Jay.
I mean, I was not a good high school student. I was.
So you weren't an honors student at Linden High School, Bill?
Do you want to know my rank?
Yes.
401 out of 513. 513,
There's an
not
honest
being the
prosecutor.
best. Hey, but over here, I was in competition with my buddy for the best grades, and he wound up with a 4.0, and I had like a 3.95. You know, because I got a 3.0 in one class first semester at Union College.
Nothing wrong with a B. I tell our honors students they all ought to
Yeah.
get one B to take the pressure off.
Yeah, well,
Probably
that
made
did.
you a better
I
student.
think it did. I think it did.
So John Jay
John Jay, sure.
was great. It's
John Jay was great.
the premier place to get a bachelor's degree in criminal justice.
This college was founded in like 1968, and it was primarily for those people who were in law enforcement and wanted to continue their education. There was what was called a dual track system, because most law enforcement officers work shift work.
Sure.
So you could go there during the day if you're working a 4 to 12 or 12 to 8, or you could go at night if you're working the 12 to 8 or the 8 to 4. While I was over there, I was fortunate enough to get into what's called it was an internship program with there were many internship programs over there with different levels of government, and I took an internship with the U.S. Customs Service, and you would go to school and also go to training down at the World Trade Center one semester, and then the following semester you would be on patrol, so to speak, in the port or at the airport, and go to school. So I got involved in that program, and I successfully completed that program. And in the summer of 1978, upon getting my bachelor's degree, I was accepted into what's called the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center down in Glencoe, Georgia, to go through the U.S. Customs Training Academy. The basic police training. It was
So you didn't go right into law school after you finished your undergraduate degree? Because we have a lot of students here who, focus on law as a career, but I imagine, and they do talk about stacking law school immediately after completing their bachelor's degree.
Yeah, no, I took a brief period of time where I just worked for the Customs Service for a year full time, and I was assigned, upon graduation from the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Glencoe, Georgia, I worked in New York City at Part 5 of the World Trade Center, which isn't there anymore. No more. I was assigned to the port, so I would work in the seaports, and I was on a boat. You know, we would search ships and seize cargo, illegal contraband, things of that nature. But I quickly realized that I wanted to go to law school and be a prosecutor and become a prosecutor. That's why I went to law school. I just didn't want to carry a weapon anymore. I wanted to be in the courtroom.
Sure.
That excited me.
Where'd you go to law school?
Seton Hall Law School.
Wow, great law school.
Oh,
great law
It was
school.
a beautiful experience. It was a great experience. I still have nightmares. I always have these dreams that, like, they're calling me back because I forgot to take one exam.
Everybody in higher ed has that same nightmare. That is
I still
classic.
get
It's
it.
the classic higher education nightmare. The day of commencement, you didn't turn your paper in. Now tell me, before becoming prosecutor in Union County,
sure.
what were you doing?
I applied to the Union County Prosecutor's office to become a criminal investigator. I wanted to leave the Customs Service because that was shift work, and I wanted to get a daytime job. And so John Stamler said, "I'll hire you, Bill, but make sure you continue with your law school education at night." So September of '82, I started Seton Hall Law School at night. I started the Union County Prosecutor's Office during the daytime as a criminal investigator. And I was able to conclude my law school studies in 4 years. And I talked to John Stamler, my boss. "John, I want to be a law clerk for a judge for 1 year, across the street in the courthouse." And he said, "Sure, Bill, no problem. You want to come back here after your 1 year clerkship?" I said, "Yes, I do. I want to be a prosecutor under you, John Stamler." So I went over to the courts for 1 year as a law clerk. I clerked for this now deceased judge, the Honorable Harvey Halberstatter. And I clerked for him for 1 year, and then of course John Stamler took me back, and I tried cases over there for, I guess, about 4 years as a prosecutor. And then I wanted to try private practice. And I was fortunate enough in my town where I lived in Linden to be offered a job as the municipal prosecutor for the city of Linden. It's a part-time job. It was Tuesday during the day and Thursday nights, prosecuting cases in the municipal court. And the salary was decent, and there was medical benefits involved, and I knew that if I took that job, I could try to build a practice too, and I hung a shingle on Wood
Sure.
Avenue. That's what we used to call it. You hang your license.
Yes, yes.
And then I built up my practice in Linden. Then the municipal court judge in Linden retired, and the governing body there made me the municipal court judge for the city of Linden
Sure.
and let someone else become the prosecutor. So I served as the municipal court judge on a part-time basis.
While still maintaining your private practice on the side.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And the court days were increased because we had more business in town. Linden Airport was developed into a mega shopping complex, so there was a need for more court sessions. So by the time I left that position, we were up to 3 court sessions a day. Excuse me, a week, I apologize, a week. And I still had my practice going. I had a full-time practice.
When did you close your practice?
I closed my practice in 2003 upon attaining the position of Superior Court Judge for the state of New Jersey in Union County, one of 20 some odd judges. While I was the municipal court judge in Linden, and I also was fortunate enough to get the Roselle Municipal Court Judge slot for like 6 years. I had them both for a while. I was working like,
Oh, it sounds like
a lot of time, a lot of hours.
80-hour-a-week schedule.
At least.
So that's where you were just prior to becoming prosecutor. You were the Superior Court judge.
Yes, for 18 years. Former Governor McGreevey nominated me, and I was appointed. So I had that job for 18 years, full-time judge, and I loved every minute of it. That's the greatest job in the world.
Everyone in Union County is thrilled that you were appointed and really delighted, and we're eagerly anticipating what's this Daniel era going to be like.
Daniel
What will Prosecutor Bill Daniel's era focus on, and what will be your initiative? So before we get to those, we're going to take a quick break.
Sure.
I'm Dr. Maggie McMenamin, president of Union County College, and we are inside the college with Prosecutor Bill Daniel, who is a Union County College graduate. We'll be right back after these messages.
My name is Joseph, and I'm a psychology major. What I love the most about Union County College is that I feel like a lot of people actually care here. There's always a professor I can talk to, always a dean I can talk to, and it's helping me find a lot of new opportunities in my life. Union County College, transforming our community one student at a time.
Welcome back to Inside the College. I'm Dr. Maggie McMenamin, president of Union County College. My guest for this episode of Inside the College is Prosecutor Bill Daniel, a Union County College graduate, class of '74. And we've heard about how Prosecutor Daniel went from Linden High School through John Jay College and Seton Hall School of Law to become the prosecutor for Union County. A wonderful journey that really should inspire many of our students and, frankly, current students at Linden High School. But now we want to learn about what Prosecutor Daniel's initiatives are going to be. He was just appointed in July of this year by Governor Murphy. So, Prosecutor Daniel,
Sure, okay.
tell us what's coming in
What's
Union
coming?
County from your office.
Permanency.
Good, we need that.
Yes, that first and foremost, permanency, to the extent that I received a 5-year appointment to this job. The last prosecutor to be in the office of the county prosecutor in a permanent position was Ted Romanko, and he left office in 2013. I think he served 11 years. Since then, we've had acting prosecutors, excellent prosecutors, but I believe there were like 6 or 7 during the interim period from 2013 until July of this year. So the law enforcement community needed a permanent prosecutor, just for policy, procedures, long-term goals. One of the first things I did when I took office was I pledged that I would visit every police department in Union County and meet with their chief, their captain, whoever wants to be in the room with me. So I've been out to all the police departments, and I'm trying to establish an open relationship on what are your needs? Where do you see, my office assisting your office in law enforcement in the future? I've touted some programs to them, some...
Anything you can share with us? Some programs?
Sure. We have what's called a crisis intervention team initiatives in the forefront right now. Each department in Union County has members on its department that are trained in crisis intervention team. The members of law enforcement, fire officers, EMTs, mental health workers, they could all fit into the first responder category.
Sure.
And stress to them the need to focus on de-escalation techniques, spotting mental health issues, crises
It certainly
intervention.
is a timely topic,
It is
given
very
some
timely.
of the situations that have occurred
Yes.
during mental health crises.
Yes. And it's at the forefront now. I think we're realizing that many of the people that first responders come into contact with are suffering from mental illness. And we need to adjust our approach when we first come into contact with them, whether it's through de-escalation techniques or cultural sensitivity awareness, as opposed to use of force.
Sure.
And
It's a situational leadership type of thing,
Yes.
just applied to intervention, to first responders.
Sure. And you said it's timely. It is a very timely topic. We've been stressing these techniques for quite a while and offering this training for years, but we're ramping it up. Starting in 2022, it'll be taking place 3 times a year. We hope to have every department member, police department, first responder members attend this so that there's at least 1 or 2 members trained in crisis intervention counseling techniques on each shift. The goal is to get 20% of each department certified in crisis intervention team counseling.
Great.
That's a long-term goal. There are other shorter-term goals. While crime has decreased overall, the types of crimes, certain types of crimes have increased.
The severity.
Severity of, yes, crimes, especially, I don't know if it's just coincidental that more and more people have been staying home because of COVID, more social interaction, contact with others in the home setting. Domestic violence cases have increased, and the use of guns in committing crimes has increased.
The county's had some gun buyback programs in the past.
Yes,
Do you
yes.
plan on continuing those?
Yes, we had a very successful gun buyback program. A month ago, we had this gun buyback program where people could surrender their weapons, no questions asked, in exchange for a monetary amount.
Sure.
A BB gun, you get $50 for that, or $25. An assault rifle, you get up to $250, depending on the quality of the weapon. Well, we normally have this in 2 spots once a year. And we, in the past, focused on urban areas, Elizabeth, Plainfield. This time we said, let's try a suburban area and see what happens. So we picked Westfield, right smack in the middle of downtown Westfield, Trinity Church. Leading up to this, I'm saying, well, we'll probably get the most out of Elizabeth, then Plainfield, and maybe we'll get some out of Westfield. Exactly the opposite. It was in excess of 500 weapons we were turned in one day. Elizabeth was 45. Plainfield was about 150, and about 350 were turned in Westfield. And what we found out, most of the people turning in these weapons in Westfield were senior citizens who didn't know how to turn in an unwanted weapon. People would come into the church with long arms, with pistols, all types of weapons, and we didn't ask questions. You can't ask name, can't ask where they're from, but we overheard people saying, oh, we're so happy that they have this. We've had these weapons under our mattress for, my grandfather gave it to my father, who gave it to me. And these weapons, maybe they were not necessarily are those weapons that would be used in crimes, but these are weapons that could be accidentally
Accidental
discharged.
shootings. That's all I was
Accidental.
just thinking of, was the grandchildren
Yes.
finding a weapon when
read about
the
this.
grandparents weren't paying attention, or else during a robbery at the home,
Sure.
the weapons could end up in the wrong hands.
5 of the weapons turned out to be stolen weapons. And also, you know, this is also suicide awareness. And in other words, there's a myriad of possible things that could go wrong with these weapons in the home.
Sure.
So we did that, and it was highly successful. Now we're going to have another buyback program focusing on another suburban area in the springtime. I'm trying to expand the training services that we have to offer to members of our law enforcement community and other first responders at our police academy. We have an excellent police academy, and we're going to expand, you know, the in-house training. I'm devoting more personnel there. Chief Eric Mason.
We know Chief Mason. He was a former
Cranford.
He's graduate of the college and former chief in Cranford and former member of our Board of Governors, actually.
Yes. He's fantastic. And I've pledged to Chief Mason, you know, whatever resources you need or want to expand the services that we have available to your office.
Wonderful.
Diversity is another big cornerstone of my administration. I'm proud to say that I've inherited a you know, gender diverse, racially diverse staff of about 250 employees because the prosecutors before me, including Prosecutor Rotolo, my immediate predecessor, were mindful of those types of issues. And I'm trying to continue those efforts, and I want our office to reflect the community. I just read in the Star Ledger this morning, and there's a great article in there about the need for more women in the law enforcement community. New Jersey is 51% female, but 91% of the law enforcement officers are male.
Well, our criminal justice program, as you know, is a great program, and
Dr.
we
Russo?
are churning out more and more female graduates
Yes.
and graduates of color. So
Yes.
we're hoping that, just like you from the 1970s,
Yes.
that the graduates of Union County College will be the chiefs and prosecutors of the future, and they will be more reflective of our community as our current enrollment is.
Yes, that's critical. Our community outreach initiative, we're constantly reaching out to the community. Just a very brief example is in the Queen City, our great city of Plainfield. There's been a string of robberies of primarily Hispanic citizens while on their way to work in the morning. We have some video. We've placed it. You know, it's on the air. Videos of 4 of these incidents, and we're reaching out to the community for assistance in identifying these people who we think are common to all of these offenses. And we'll be meeting with a neighborhood activist group to try to get their citizens who are victims of these offenses to come forward and, you know, cooperate. We need the community, but we're not waiting for them to come to us. We're going out to them. We're going out to that neighborhood, and I want them to see us and, you know, build bridges. That's what we have to do.
Know that that you're a partner with them.
Yes.
You know, I'm a member of Crime Stoppers.
Yes,
and Crime
Doctor.
Stoppers was one of the group that celebrated when you were appointed prosecutor, because we exist as Crime Stoppers organization to support law enforcement generally, but to support the Union County Prosecutor's Office most particularly.
Yes.
So I know that Crime Stoppers and the numbers at the lower part of your screen right now is one of those community-based agencies that helps get information to police departments anonymously to solve crimes like that. So that kind of community outreach, I know that the prosecutor's office becoming more ubiquitous throughout the county and having touch points throughout the county matters. It's something that we do at Union County College, try to get out in all of our neighborhoods. As you know, we have a campus in Plainfield, so the safety of people in Plainfield is pretty important to us as well.
Sure.
So we appreciate your community outreach efforts over there. Before we wrap up, I want to make sure we get to any other new initiatives the prosecutor may want to focus on. So Prosecutor Daniel, any other information you want to share with the community before we break?
There's many different areas. We're revitalizing our task force, collaboration with municipal police departments. As part of my visits to these departments, we're asking them to send members to our office for training. for a year, to commit themselves to our office for 1 year, whether it be in the Homicide Task Force, Cyber Crimes Task Force, Narcotics Task Force, to assist us in, our crime fighting efforts. And what these officers gain from 1 year with our office is expertise in an area that they could bring back to their police department.
Sounds like an academic fellowship. That's what we'd call it when you send a professor out to another school to share expertise, but also to gain expertise in that process.
Yes, and we've been successful. Maybe right now, out of all the towns and cities in Union County, I think I have 6 officers who were committed to our task force. Homicide, cyber crimes. Cyber crimes is an up-and-coming area of law enforcement, including drone operations. We have a subcommittee on drone operations. So we're just trying to, do the best we can. Transparency, collaboration with all the municipal entities, but the community. That's, if I could just leave a mark, I'd like to. When I leave office, I'm just hoping that police-community relations are, on firm footing.
Collaboration seems to be the motto of what you do. All of the different initiatives that you talked about were about outreach and collaboration, whether it's collaboration with the community and the residents in the community and all of the communities, or collaboration between and among those law enforcement agencies in the community. It's an honor to have this opportunity to interview you here today and to help our viewers learn more about this community treasure, this man who is William Daniel, born in Union County, a resident of Linden for his entire life, a graduate of Linden High School and Union County College, and now he has been appointed as our prosecutor in Union County after 8 years of interim and temporary prosecutors. We now have Governor Murphy's fully appointed prosecutor, Bill Daniel. Thank you, Prosecutor Daniel, for being with us here today on Inside the College at Union County College.
Thank you, Dr. McMenamin. And I look forward to the day when I could come back here in another capacity, perhaps with the Alumni Association. I love this school. It's the best thing that ever happened to me in my life, except for my wife.
Next, I want to point out he's got a Union County College pin, a vintage pin from Union College from his time at the college. So thanks very much.
1976.
76.
Yeah.
We'll see you next month inside the college.